Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Shri Saraswatyai Namaha. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Samasta Jana Kalyani Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram. We'll start with the Mangal Acharan of Balkand that we do every week, the very, very beginning of Balkand. Sorry, I'm going to start again. Sakala Om and welcome back to Ramayana class, everybody. We are seeing the Kishkinda Kanda, which is the fourth chapter Kanda in this Ramcharitmanas, and we're coming to the end. Last week we saw the beautiful symbolism of the Vanaras searching for Sitaji. How is it that, knowing she was in the south, Vanaras went in all different directions? Why is it that most of them did not go south? So many questions to reflect on. That would get clarified when we reflect on the symbolism behind that whole section. We also saw how Bhagavan Rama gave his ring to Hanumanji. We saw how the Vanaras, I don't like calling them monkeys because they're not like monkeys as we think of when we say the word monkeys. They're Vanaras, right? Sometimes by habit, we say monkey, but really they're Vanaras. So these Vanaras, in the beginning, they were so enthusiastic, and any Rakshasa they would find, they would beat him up, and he would die in one blow. And then they'd be like, oh, never mind, that's not Ravana, let's keep going. And so like that, they were looking, and they put all their energy up front, and they lost their energy. And then they thought they were going to die, because they were so thirsty. Then Hanumanji discovered that there was a cave where birds were going in with dry wings and coming out with wet wings. And so he said, let's go there. So he takes all of them there. And that happens to be the cave where this glorious ascetic Svayamprabha is staying. And so they meet this Svayamprabha. We saw her story also last week. And then she transports them with her power to the southern shore of Bharat. Where they had to go is where she sent them. They were supposed to go south. She sent them as south as they could go, right to the shore of Bharat. And so that is where we ended. And then she went to Bhagavan Ram and did her pranams and all of that. And now the story continues. So we're now going to see after Doha number 25, right? Let me see what number it was. This is after 25, yes. After number 25, we'll chant from there. Iha bicharahi. I hope everyone has found it. This is Kishkinda Kand after number 25. Iha bicharahi kapi manamahi biti avadhika kaju kaju nahi sab mili kahi paraspara bata binu sudhilai karabaka prata kaha angada lojana bhari bari duhu prakara bhai mrityu hamari ihana sudhi sita ke pai uha gaye mare hi kabirai pita badhe paramarata mohi rakha ramane horana ohi puni puni angada sabam puni puni angada kaha sabam pahi marana bhayau kachu samsayanahi angada vachana sunata kapibira molina sakahina yana bahanira chana eka socha magana huirahi puniya sabachana kahata sababhai hamasita ke sudhini nepena nahi jahi juvaraja prabina asa kahi lavana sindhu tata jai bethe kapi sabadar dasai jamavanta angada dukha dekhi kahi katha upadesa viseshi katarama kahu narajani mana nirguna brahma ajita ajajana mama sava sevaka ati burabhagi santata saguna brahma anuragi Nija ichha prabhu avatarahi suramahi Iha, here. Tulsidashi says here. Here means he is now with the Vanaras, where they are. Where are they? On the banks of Bharat, the southern banks. Iha bicharahi kapi mana mahi. Now over here, where Svayamprabha had sent them, they were thinking in their mind. What were they thinking? Biti avadhi kaju kachu nahi. That the time limit we were given by Sugriva to find Sitaji in a month, that work has not been done. Right? What is the instruction? Go and look for her and come back within a month. If you come back within a month, you're fine. If you go and you look for her and a month passes and then you come back after 1 month without news of Sitaji, well, I will personally kill you with my own hands. But if you find news of Sitaji and come back, then you will not die. I mean, then you've finished your work, right? Yes, it took longer, but it got done. So in 1 month, now 1 month has finished according to this. Biti avadhi, the time has finished. So now, Saba mili kahahi paraspara bata. Now they were telling each other this story. You know, the time is finished. Oh God, what is going to happen? Binu sudhi lae karaba ka bhrata. What are we going to do now, going back without any news? We can't go. Sugriva is going to kill us. Right? And they were all talking to each other like this. This reminds me of, actually, when there's bad news or something stressful, we talk about it with each other so easily. I don't know if you guys remember, but at least in during COVID time, the people I used to talk to, the common topic of the time was, did you see how many cases there were today? Did you see how many cases they posted today? It was the only thing people could talk about was that, right? Good things also going on, but all they could talk about was one thing, right? So now they're stressed that their death is coming near and they don't know what to do. So now, Kaha Angada. Now Angad speaks. Angad is the Yuvaraj, remember? He's the crown prince and he's the leader of this army right now. He's the captain. He said, Lochana bhari bari, with his eyes filled with tears. Now Angad speaks. Duhu prakara bhai mrityu hamari. In both ways we are dead. Right? If we go back, we're going to be killed. And I shouldn't tell, right? What are the two ways? Well, we haven't found Sita. So if we go back, we're going to be killed. Right? And here, if we stay here, there's nowhere to go. What are we going to do? We're going to die over here only. Right? He says, Iha nasudhi sita kai pai. Over here we haven't gotten any news. And over there, uha gaye marihi kapirai. And if we go there, this Kapirai, the king of monkeys, is going to kill us. So now he's not calling him uncle, he's not calling him Sugriva, he's calling him that king of monkeys is going to kill us. Huh? Now see this really interesting thing that Angad says. Pita badhe paramarata mohi. When my father was killed, at the time my father was killed, he would have killed me. This Sugriva would have killed me once my father was killed. Why? I mean, because I'm a threat to his power. He would have killed me right then and there. But Rakha Rama Nihorana Ohi. But Bhagavan Ram protected me. He's not the one who protected me. So I have no debt of gratitude to owe to him that he saved my life, he spared my life. It was Bhagavan Ram who spared my life. So I don't have any thoughts of gratitude or this or debt or anything to him. See the feeling that he harbors in his heart for Sugriva. It is not true that Sugriva would have killed him. I mean, we suppose it was not true that Sugriva would have killed him, right? But fear makes us delusional. So he thinks in his mind, well, he would have killed me anyways. I don't owe anything to him, right? And now the reality is that actually, if he kills him, it is not because he's Bali's son. What is the condition? The condition is, if anybody comes back without Sitaji's news, they're dead. Independent of the person. But he has made it personal. And so this is Angad. Now, Puni Puni, again and again. Angad kaha saba pahi. He said to everybody. Marana bhayau kachu samsaya nahi. We are going to die. There is no doubt about it. What are you going to do when your leader tells you not one time, but puni puni, over and over and over and over again, guys, we're dead. We're so dead. Oh my God, we're dying. Oh my God, we're going to die. I mean, in whatever language he told him, he told them over and over again to hear from your leader that you're going to die. I mean, what kind of morale is going to be there in everybody? But remember, Angad is the youngest team member over there. And the thing about youngsters is that they lose heart very quickly. Have you not heard adults say the next generation doesn't have patience, right? They lose heart quickly. They don't know how to stick to things, all kinds of things. Well, it's not a new thing. It's going on since Ramayana time. So the poor Gen Zs are not to blame. I mean, solely to blame. It's been going on since time immemorial, where youngsters don't have patience in situations. They lose heart very quickly. Right? But I mean, hold on. Angad's not all bad. Just now he's going to show leadership as well. Huh? Now, Angada Bachana. Now, Angad's words. Sunata Kapi Bira. Hearing these brave monkeys heard these words of Angad. They're brave. So, what did they do? Boli na sakahi. They also couldn't speak. Nayana bahanira. And their eyes also were filled with tears. So now you just visualize. Angad is crying. All the other monkeys are crying. And everybody's lamenting. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Chana eka. So chamagana hoi rahe. For a moment, all of them were drowned in sorrow. Then, Puni asa bachana kahata saba bhai. Then suddenly, they all spoke some other words. Their tune changed. What did they say? Hamasi ta ke sudhi leen he bina. We, without getting news about Sitaji, without taking news about Sitaji, nahi jai hai jubaraja prabina. Oh, you skilled, proficient, wonderful crown prince Angad, without taking back news about Sitaji, we are not going to go back. So now that could mean two things. What could it mean? Option one is, well, we're just going to die right here. Then your uncle can't have the joy of killing you. I mean, if you die here, what'll he do? He can't do anything to you. But the other side is, it looks like when their leader was down in the dumps, they found some inspiration in the moment where they thought, no, there is a possibility. There's still time. There's still an option for us to find Sitaji. And the interesting thing is, you will notice in life, for Bhagavan's work, there is always inspiration. If the leader doesn't have inspiration at the time, someone else will have it. But behind Bhagavan's work, there is always inspiration. So we don't need to worry about it getting done. Asakahi. Now saying like this, these Vanaras, that don't worry, we're not going back without getting news about her. Lavana Sindhu Tata Jai. They went to the bank of the salty ocean. I don't know why they say Lavana Sindhu. Lavana Sindhu, salty ocean. Ocean is salty anyways, right? Maybe Tulsidashi is reminding us that, hey, they can't drink this water also. Like, they're literally going to die if they don't find a solution soon, right? And they can't swim. They can't go down and look for fish under the water. Nothing. They're just stuck there. What did they do? Baithe kapi saba, darbhar dasai. So now all of these monkeys sat over there. They spread some durva grass, and they sat over there. Like, I don't know, you know how people sit by the ocean and they watch the waves and they start to ponder. They become reflective. Maybe some wonderful idea will come to mind. Because when we spend time in nature, the mind naturally becomes peaceful. Is it not? When we're surrounded by Bhagavan's creation as a manifestation as opposed to ours, some kind of peace comes to the mind. And in that peace and the purity of mind, clarity comes about what can be done. And so now they sit and they're thinking, what other option do they have? They can't trace back their steps also. You know, in Hansel and Gretel, when they come and then they put breadcrumbs to find their path back. I don't know if you all know the story of Hansel and Gretel, but they come and then when they're trying to go back, they can't find the breadcrumbs because the birds ate it. Right? Well, here they didn't have breadcrumbs, but I think it was breadcrumbs, right? Here, it was, okay. Here, they were transported here, so they literally have no steps to trace back. They're stuck here. They don't know how to go back now also. So they're thinking. Now see, the interesting thing in all of this is, Svayamprabha had just told them, you will find Sita. In those exact words, you will find Sita. Bhagavan Rama told Hanumanji, when you find Sita ji, give her this message. So he has no doubt that they will find Sita ji. Svayamprabha has no doubt that they will find Sita ji. But somehow they have doubt. And the implication of having doubt is, in Bhagavad Gita, samshayatma vinashyati. Somebody with doubt perishes. That person is destroyed. Doubt destroys us. It destroys our thinking, our capacity, everything. So now what happens? Jamavanta angada dukha dekhi. Jambavanji, he saw Angad's sorrow. He is the eldest. He's the eldest member of the group. And he saw Angad's sorrow. Kahi katha upadesa viseshi. And now he started telling special instruction. Sounds like he's counseling him. He was sad and he needed some counseling. And it is a truism that at some point in our life, we will all need some counsel from our elders. Because they have a kind of wisdom that we don't have. I mean, they have a greater perspective on life. And so there's something valuable about what they have to say in every moment. So now, this Jambavanshi, I don't know if you know, but he was there in all the avatars so far. And he will be there for Krishna avatar also. So he is like old, right? Old means he has a lot of perspective on life. Let us say that. The next time you want to say I'm old, you should say I have a lot of perspective on life. So now, because our perspectives are different. I mean, he's seeing the world from a different point of view. You just imagine what the perspective of a 5-year-old child is and a 20-year-old adult. Not teenager, youth is. Difference in perspective is so much. Now, what about somebody who has lived avatars of Bhagavan? How much perspective he will have? So now he says, what does he say? Tata, now he's playing the role of Guru. Tata, Rama kahu nara jani manahu. My dear, do not think about Rama as an ordinary man. Do not think that he is an ordinary man. He is not. Who is he? Nirguna Brahma. He is Nirguna Brahman. Ajita Aja Janahu. You should know, that he is Ajita, he's unconquerable, he's unborn. This is who he is, right? Don't think he's an ordinary being. He's Brahman himself. Means Angad may not have been convinced of Bhagavan's Ishvaratva. If he was, would he have doubted whether they could do this or not? Doubt wouldn't have been there. The person who has faith never has doubt. And the person who has doubt, the corollary of that is in that moment, you don't have faith. So his lack of faith in Bhagavan's power is shown over here. Now, he says, Hamasaba. Now Jambavanshi is giving upadesh, advice, teaching to Angad to lift him out of his sorrow. And what is he using? He's using jnana. Every wise person uses jnana to remove people out of their sorrow. He doesn't say, don't worry, everything will be okay. He says, look, Rama is Nirguna Brahman. Straight to Nirguna Brahman. Same thing Bhagavan Krishna does with Arjuna. Huh? That should tell a lot about it, the way our sorrow will go. Huh? He says, Hamasaba, all of us, Sevaka Ati Badha Bhagi. All of us Sevaks are very lucky. A, we are Sevaks, and B, we are very lucky Sevaks. Huh? Santata Saguna Brahma Anuragi. We are always permanently devoted to Saguna Brahman. Means to Brahman with attributes. We are always devoted to Ishvara. Right? Jambavanji is telling all of these Vanaras, we are Sevaks of Bhagavan, and we are super lucky because we are always devoted to him. It means that they didn't know who they really were, but Jambavanji knew. They remembered they were all devatas that came to help Bhagavan when he took avatar, right? Now, would you rather be a sevak of Bhagavan and not know you're a sevak of Bhagavan, or know that you are a sevak of Bhagavan? I mean, who won't want to know that they're a sevak of Bhagavan, right? So, you know, it's really funny. Like, imagine that you are employed by somebody and you think you are their sevak, right? I'm employed by John Smith or whatever, some random person you're employed by. And you don't know that actually they report to like the boss of the company. And not only that, according to your description, your real boss is the boss of the company, not this middleman. Well, I didn't know that. I'm like sevak of the boss? Even in a simple corporate world, there's a big thing in reporting to senior VP, and you know how people have that whole thing. Who do you report to? It's a big thing. Well, who's our boss? Bhagavan, the Lord of the universe, is our boss. We are his sevaks, right? So we are very lucky to be sevaks of Bhagavan because he can do his work himself. You think he needs us to get anything in this universe done? No, but we are lucky because we get to be a part of it. Swamiji makes jokes about how people think the Swami can't wash dishes. It means, but we want to have something to do for them. They can do it, but give us the opportunity, no? Like that. That's how they're lucky. Then in the Doha he says, Nija Ichha Prabhu Avatarai. By his own desire, by his own free will, Bhagavan Avatarahi takes avatar. He comes down. He becomes one of us, like that, right? He takes avatar. Sura Mahi Go Dvija Lagi. For the benefit of the Devatas, for the benefit of Mother Earth, for the benefit of the cows, for the benefit of Brahmanas. In short, he takes avatar to protect Dharma. He takes incarnation on this earth to protect Dharma and to protect people who follow and protect Dharma. Now, I think that it is divine grace that Bhagavan's birthday is tomorrow. Bhagavan Rama is going to be born tomorrow. And here we're seeing a section where we're talking about when is the last time the purpose of his birth was talked and his avatar, and so far behind. But today of all days it's coming. Bhagavan is like, you're in tune. It's really special. I don't know, it's special for me. So, Nija Ichha, by his own will, Bhagavan takes avatar. Right? And Saguna Upasaka Sangataha Rahahi Moksha Sabatyagi. We are Saguna Upasakas. All of us, we worship Bhagavan with form. And we have given up Mukti, Moksha, everything, staying in Vaikunth, all of that. Why? To stay with him. Because greater than Vaikuntha is to be a sevak of Bhagavan in Bhagavan's presence as Saguna Brahman. When Bhagavan takes form, you don't want to be anywhere else but there as a sevak, right? So Jambavanji is reminding us of the purpose of Bhagavan's avatar. He's reminding the Vanaras of the purpose of Bhagavan's avatar. And he's saying, the point is, we are here to do Ramakaj. How can it not be done? It has to be done, right? When we're doing Bhagavan's work, it must necessarily get done. He is getting it done, and we are just here for the ride, right? There's a really beautiful bhajan that says, in English, I'll tell what it means. You are doing everything, and my name is getting known. Like, I am getting the glory when you're actually the one who is doing everything in my life, right? Mera naam ho raha hai. My name is being glorified like that. So, we shouldn't doubt the capacity for the work of Bhagavan getting done, because that means that we doubt Bhagavan's power. His work has to get done, no? Not on my strength. Oh, I think Bhagavan's work depends on my strength? But he's reminding them this bhava that we are here to do Bhagavan's work by choice. That is what he's telling them. Hanumanji has this. I mean, he will very soon, right? We have the same purpose. What is it? Ramakaj. But we don't have the vision. You just imagine how powerful and transformative our life would be if we had this vision while we had this Ramkaj. But what do I come and do? I come and do Swakaj. I come and do my own work. Then what is the difference between me and somebody whose purpose it is to do Swakaj? You know whose purpose it is to do their own work? Animals, according to Shastra. Right? Human beings have the capacity to be selfless. Animals don't. They're only thinking about themselves and their own family. So, well, we have the opportunity. Jambavanji is reminding. He's not just talking to the Vanaras, he's talking to all of us. Right? Alright, now let's see. What happens? Does it work? Jambavanji's wonderful advice to them, these down in the dumps people. Ehi bidi katha kahahi bahu bhati. In this way, Jambavanji told so many different stories, meaning he would have tried to inspire them in so many different ways. Then what happened? Giri Kandara Suni Sampati. In a cave on the mountain that was close by there, Sampati heard what was going on. Who is Sampati? Well, you just imagine you don't know who Sampati is, right? I don't know if anyone doesn't know. If you know the story of Ramayana, you know who he is. But just imagine, see the way Tulsidashi presents it. He doesn't tell who he is. He just says Sampati heard. And now, Jambavanshi was just telling Upadesh to these Vanaras. And in the middle of this chopai, in the middle of it, the story switches. Means what? The Vanaras were not interested in his Upadesh. They were not paying attention. They weren't listening. It wasn't vibing with them. Right? So now the story switches. Right? Bahira hoi. Dekhi bahu kisa. He came out of this cave that he was in, and he saw so many monkeys. So many countless vanaras were there. And what did he think? Mohi ahara dinha jagadisa. What? The Lord of the universe has given me food. What does a vulture eat? See, he saw that the Vanaras were sitting there, determined to die, like fasting till death or something. He's not going to eat them alive. He's going to wait very happily for them. Aju sabahi kaha bhachana karahu. Today itself, I am going to eat all of them. So many Vanaras you're going to eat at the same time? Yes, because dina bahu chale. Ahara binu marau. So many days have passed for me without food. I am starving. You know when you're starving and you see food and it's like a normal amount you normally eat, you're like, that's it? If you see like this huge heap of food, you're like, oh my God, I'm going to finish all of this. There's so much hunger that your stomach tells your mind it can eat all of it, right? And he goes on to say, Kabahuna mila. Bhari udara ahara. He said, I have never gotten to fill my stomach with food. What? Never? No, never. Means he only eats like half belly. He's a sadhaka. He only eats half belly, quarter belly, whatever he gets. Aju dinha bidhi. Ekahi bara. Bhagavan has given me my luck, destiny, Brahmaji, however you want to say, has given me all of it at one time. See, it's so interesting. A vulture only gets food when somebody dies, right? So somebody else's death is his joy. But why is it that he's saying, well, Bhagavan has to give me food, right? Just now we'll see why also. He has to wait for the food to come to him. Now, Darape, Gidha Bhajana, Sunikana. Now, all of these Vanaras heard with their own ears what this Gidha was saying. Means he would have spoken out loud. Oh my God, look at my food. Oh my God, I'm so excited. You know, some people, they do like a happy dance when they see food. And then other people, they like verbally express, oh my God, I'm so excited to eat. Oh my God. So maybe he also would have been like expressing verbally, expressing physically his excitement at eating them, right? So now they said he heard. So they heard with their own ears. Means he would have said something about his excitement. Ababha marana satya hamajana. Oh no, now our death is certain. But they were already ready to die. Now they're like, oh God, now our death is certain. You all heard that joke about the man who went to the railway station to commit suicide? He didn't want to live anymore. So he went and he lay on the train tracks, waiting for the train. And somebody came and saw him. Said, what are you doing? He said, no, I'm fed up with life. I can't handle it anymore. I'm waiting for a train to just come and end this story for me. So he said, oh, I see. Okay, what is that bag you are holding with you? He had a bag with him, right? I'm curious. You've come to die. What is that bag? He said, oh, that's my lunch. Your lunch? But you've come to die. He said, no, I heard that these Indian trains, they run very late. So what if I get hungry while I'm waiting? Is he planning to die? So, I mean, these Vanas were saying only, yes, oh my God, we're going to die. Now it's a reality and they're like, oh my God, really? So now what happens? Kapi saba uthe, Gida kaha dekhi. Now they all got up, all these kapis, seeing this Gidha, seeing this vulture. Oh, so Sampati is a vulture, by the way. Now we all know that, in case you didn't know that before. He's a vulture. Jambavanta manasocha biseshi. Jambavanji was really worried. See, Jambavanji was wise. He was just telling them Upadesh and everything, right? But now a real problem has come, and now he's worried. Now, he couldn't think of an instant solution, but he knew something had to be done. Right? So this is the situation. Now, Jambavanji's reaction, and now in the next line, see whose reaction. Kaha Angada, Bichari Manamahi. Now Angad spoke. Jambavanji thought. He didn't say anything. Angad spoke. Again you'll be like, oh my God, these people, they just talk without thinking. No, but it said, Bichari Manamahi. He thought in his mind. So he was able to think so fast that he could speak even before Jambavanji thought about what could be done. Right? And what did he say? Dhanya Jatayu Samako Nahi. He says, there's nobody as blessed as Jatayu. Equal to Jatayu in being blessed, there's nobody. So Tulsidashi juxtaposes Jambavanji, the oldest, eldest, with Angad, who is the youngest. Right? Juxtaposition of two reactions. One generation has wisdom, but the next generation has the capacity to quickly come up with creative solutions. They think rashly, but they also have the capacity to think fast by thinking, right? So yes, he was rash, he was impatient, but he also could think like this. Imagine if they worked together, what would happen? I don't literally mean just Angad and Jambavanji. I mean, if the next generation and the previous generation worked together, they would be like a powerhouse. Because one's wisdom and one's enthusiasm, and you put them together, and it's like magic. It is great leaders who can inspire multiple generations to work together. And when you see that, you see so much growth in that organization. The Chinmay missions where people work together like that, previous generation, next generation, those are the most dynamic centers you will find. At work also, if you look and you see, where old and young get along well, they're able to come up with so much. Now, what is so great about what Angad said? Well, he said Jatayu is blessed. Why are you bringing Jatayu at a time like this? Because Jatayuji is another vulture, and Sampati is a vulture. So now if you talk about the greatness of another vulture, like hello, if one vulture has the capacity to love Bhagavan so much so that he gives up his life for Bhagavan, what, another vulture doesn't have that capacity to? Or, well, maybe he knows him. Maybe something will happen in his head. So he thinks about Jatayuji, and that remembering of Jatayuji, that out-of-box solution over there, saved the day somehow, right? So now he says, Rama Kaja Karana Tanu Tyagi. For the purpose of Bhagavan Rama's work, he gave up his body. He sacrificed his life for Bhagavan's work. And then as a result, Haripura Gayo Parama Bara Badha Bhagi. He went to Bhagavan's loka. Who? Parama Bara Bhagi. Bara Bhagi means very fortunate. Parama Bara Bhagi. Most supremely fortunate, lucky, this Jatayu. So he glorifies another vulture, in front of this vulture who is planning to eat them. And as a result, Sunikhaga Harasha Soka Juta Bani. Now this khaga, this bird, was filled with joy and sorrow hearing these words. He stopped being called Gidha, he stopped being called a vulture, and he started being called a khaga, a bird. Because vulture is associated with tamas and, death and all of that. But a bird is not. So just by hearing that, he went from being referred to as a vulture to being referred to as a bird. Means the sentiment in his heart has now changed. And so that means that Angad's hunch was right. Empower the next generation and see what happens. That's what he was right? So now Ava Nikata, he came close to them. And Kapinha Bhayamani, and the Kapis got scared. Why is this vulture approaching us? What is he coming to do? Right? He's scared now. Tenhahi abhaya kari. First of all, he made them fearless. Means he said, no, don't be scared. I'm not coming to kill you, eat you, nothing. Just relax. There's nothing to be scared of, right? Poochhesi jai. He went to ask them. What did he do? He actually went to ask them something. What did he want to ask? Well, you see the next line. Katha sakala tinha tahi sunahi. He asked them a question and they told him the whole story. Means he would have asked them, what do you mean? You said Jatayu? You called the name of a vulture called Jatayu, and you said Rama and his work, and he gave up his... What were you saying? Like this he asks, right? And so they tell how Jatayuji gave up his life trying to protect Sitaji from Bhagavan Ram. Suni Sambati. Now Sambati hearing this, Bandhu Kai Karani, hearing the Karani, the deeds of his bandhu, of his brother, right? Raghupati Mahima Bahubidhi Bharani. He glorified Bhagavan Rama in so many ways. So now see, his relationship with Jatayu is told. He's his brother. They were brothers. So either Angad recognized the family familiarity or what between the two. But he also hadn't met Jatayu, but his hunch was right. Now, Jatayu heard Bandhu Ke Karani. Sambati heard about his brother's Antyeshti Samskara also. Means Bhagavan Rama himself had done the final rites of this Jatayuji, right? And how great Bhagavan would be to do something like that for a vulture, right? But suddenly why he got so much interest? Because it was his brother. That's why Harasha and Shoka. Wow, my brother did such a great thing. Wow, I'm hearing about my brother. And Shoka, I'm hearing about him and he's dead. Like that. So both those emotions came. When he heard the story, it's only because of the relation that he felt the emotions. That's what attachment does, right? So now, something interesting to think about is that actually, we are not defined by our body, but by our karma. Do we glorify Jatayuji because he is a vulture? Or do we glorify him because of what he did? It doesn't matter who he was, right? If we act like animals with a human body, one side, versus an animal acting with selflessness and devotion, who's better? Right? That animal, that Jatayu, gave up his life for another being. That's not an animalistic quality. He knew it was Ravana. He knew he was going to die. And he gave up his life, right? Bhagavan saw that. Bhagavan saw the selflessness of Jatayu. He didn't see the vulture-ness of Jatayu. So he had the great capacity to look beyond the form and see the jiva that was inside. How wonderful Bhagavan is to be able to see that, right? From another point of view, for Bhagavan to do Shraddha Karma for a vulture, how much compassion he would have had to have, right? So, I mean, you just think about how Bhagavan Rama interacted with Jatayuji, and it speaks volumes about our own life, right? Then in the Doha he says, Mohi le jahu sindhu tata, please take me to the banks of the river. Deyu tilanjali tahi, I want to offer tilanjali, I want to offer the, maybe like water, and I'll offer Anjali, I want to do some final rites for him. It's ironic how human family members also don't believe in this anymore. But this vulture wants to do for his brother. Which brother? The one who has gone to Vaikuntha already, whose karma has been done by Bhagavan himself. But he also wants to do. Anyways, it's interesting to think about how animals also have the capacity to grieve for their loved ones when they're lost. The emotions are there. Huh? Now he says in the last line, he says, Bachana sahai karabi mein, I can help you, I can serve you with my words. I will serve you with my words. Pehahu khojahu jahi, I will help you to find the one you are trying to seek. So, he says, does a vulture need help to move from one side to another side? From where they are to the bank of the river, he needs help. He can fly. But this vulture needs help. Something is showing that he's helpless, right? The other thing is, in this Doha, on one hand, he's asking them for something. He's saying, give me something, which is, take me to the bank. Asking for something, and the next line he's thinking, what can I give in return? Because we don't take without giving. We always give when we take something. And when we do rituals, we have to give dana. One of the things in ritual is giving dakshina, right? Giving dana. Offering something out of gratitude. Who is he going to give? My heart should be so big at that time that I give like that, right? So, however you want to think about it, but he says, you take me, and I want to give you something also back, like that. So now let us chant this next section. Sahih Shri Sadgurunath Maharaj ki jai. Now, Sampati tells his story. Anujakriya Kari Sagara Tira, having done his brother's final rites at the bank of the ocean, Kahi Nija Katha, he told his story. Sunahu Kapibira, listen, O brave Vanaras. Hamadvau Bandhu Prathama Tarunai, us, we two brothers, in the prime of our youth, Gagana Gaye Rabi Nikata Urai, we went near to the sun, we flew to the sun. We wanted to go and fly to the sun, right? We went in the sky and flew to the sun. Who? Jatayu and him. Tejana Sahi Sakha, so Pheri Ava. Jatayuji, he could not bear the brilliance and the heat of the sun, so he turned and came back. Main Abhimani, I was too egoistic to turn back. Rabi Niyarava, and so I kept going near the sun. Why they didn't go in the night when the sun wasn't bright and hot? One man, there were two friends sitting on the corner of some road, right? And a drunk man passed them. And that drunk man now, no. These two people talking are drunk, right? They're drunk and they're sitting outside a bar and they're having a big argument. And they're looking up at night at the sky, and one is saying, look at the sun. And the other one is saying, no, that's the moon. So now a big fight is going on between the two of them. Now a third person is passing by, right? And they say, hey, come, we want to ask you something. So this person comes and they're like, tell us, is that the sun or is that the moon? And he realizes what is going on between them. And he says, well, I don't know. I'm not from around here. There are so many jokes around the sun and the moon and all of that in this tradition because the sun is such an important part of it. Anyways. Now, what happened? He kept going. Why? He says because of Abhiman, because of ego. And Gurudev says that ego gets us in trouble, but pride keeps us there. So his pride was so much that he couldn't turn back. What happened? Jare pankha, my wings burned. Ati teja apara, because the brilliance, the heat of the sun is too extreme. It's immeasurable, right? Ati teja apara. Pariyu bhumi, I fell on the ground. What happens when the wings of a bird burn? With no wings, he falls. Kari ghora chikara, and I screamed out loud. Imagine the pain he would have had to go through for his wings to burn, right? Now, see, he didn't have wings. That's why he needed help. That's why he had to wait there for food to come to him. That's why only what came, only that he could eat. Bhagavan sent a little bit, he ate a little bit. Bhagavan sent nothing, he ate nothing. Like that. His feathers burnt. Then, Muni Eka Nama Chandrama Ohi. Now there was a Muni, one Muni by the name of Chandrama. Chandrama literally means moon, right? And so this Muni, his name was Chandrama, that lived over there. And Lagi Daya Dekhi Kari Mohi, and he had great compassion when he saw me. You know, the interesting thing is, when everybody falls, right? Because of Abhiman, everybody falls. But when a good person falls, they fall in the company of good. Hanumanji is going to fall in Lanka Kand. But where is he going to fall? In Ayodhya, in literally the lap of Bharatji. So we fall. But where we fall is the question, right? Now, Bahu Prakara. Wait, no, sorry. Did I miss a line gone? Bahu Prakara Tehi Jnana Sunava. In many ways, he gave me knowledge. He taught me knowledge, right? What did he primary teaching? Deha Janita Abhimana Chadhava. He removed my arrogance about my body, my natural arrogance that I had about my body, he rid me of that. Would Sampati have ever gone to that guru to get knowledge like this if he had wings? Think he'd have had enough to stay there and listen to this knowledge and rid himself of his ego? No. So in blessings also, which we call bad, there's blessings in what we call bad also. His wings burned, but what did he get? He got jnana in the presence of a compassionate guru, right? So, and then you see, Bhagavan also used, let's see the next line, it'll come, right? Treta Brahma Manuja Tanudharihi. In Treta Yuga, Brahman is going to take human form, right? Ishvara is coming. Tasu Nari Nisichara Pati Harihi. His wife, what is going to happen? His wife is going to be kidnapped by the king of Rakshasas. Then Tasu Koja Pathaihi Prabhu Duta. Now to find her, Bhagavan is going to send messengers. Tenhahi milete hoba punita. When you meet them, you will become purified. Whole thing, when is this going on? Before Treta Yuga, because he's saying in Treta Yuga, Bhagavan is going to take avatar, right? So this is long time ago that this has happened. So he's telling the whole story. How many people have told the whole story of what is going to happen? But still now, you think Ravana is going to not think, well, this was my idea. It was my plan, I came up with this plan to kidnap the Sita. Was it his plan? I mean, he can't even have ego about the fact that he came up with the plan. Same with us. We come up with things, we think it's our plan. But remember, if Ravana didn't come up with his plan, same boat for us. We don't come up with our plans. It's all already in unmanifest, waiting to manifest. You just make yourself the fit instrument and it manifests through you like that, right? Now, the other thing is, who ended up being dutas? Monkeys, vanaras. Seeing a monkey, a person gets purified? So it's not that he was seeing the monkey form. Again, the issue of form comes, right? It was the seeing of the duta of Bhagavan, the messenger of Bhagavan, that purifies. So that's why Tulsidashi loves bhaktas so much. That's why seekers love bhaktas. Because the presence of a bhakta transforms your life. It is not possible to spend time with a bhakta and not develop bhakti. Because their bhakti is infectious. 100% infectious. Even the person who has zero belief eventually starts to believe a little bit. It's too infectious for it to not impact you. The other really cool thing about all of this is that, you know what, let's finish his story, then we'll talk. So many things we can think about, right? But now what happens? Bhagavan is going to come and his dutas are going to come. When his dutas come, then what will happen? Jami hahi pankha karasi jani chinta. Your wings will grow again at that time. Don't worry. Right? Don't worry, your wings will come back. Tenhahi dekhai dehesu te sita. And at that time, you should show them where Sita is. You should tell them where Sita ji is. Right? That's your work. You go and wait over there and tell them where Sita is. Muni ke gira satya bhai aju. The words of the Muni have come true today. Means his wings would have grown. Right? Suni mama bachana. Karahu prabhu kaju. Listen to my words. Trust my words. And go and do Bhagavan's work. Right? How many things have to happen in our life for us to build Shraddha in Bhagavan's power? Svayamprabha said, you will find. With her power, she transported them. And not an ordinary thing. Sampati's wings grew in front of their eyes. How, when seeing things like this, a person who cannot build Shraddha in Bhagavan's power? It's his work. We have nothing to be afraid of. Right? So now, he goes on and he says, Giri Trikuta Upara basa Lanka. Now, on top of this Trikuta mountain, on top of that mountain, Lanka is there. Right? Lanka lives on this Trikuta mountain. Lanka is established on this Trikuta mountain. Taha raha Ravana. Ravana stays over there. Sahaja asanka. Totally fearless. Why? Because no one can attack this island. It is so well fortified. And it is an island. So to get there is not easy. Right? It's strategically positioned for impossibility of attack. Like that. Right? Ravana is fearless. Nothing will come, no one will come. Taha asoka upabana jaha rahai. Over there, in the Ashoka Vatika, she stays. Sita, who Sita ji? Baiti socha rata ahahi. She's sitting over there and she is filled with grief. Sita ji is in Ashoka Vatika, in Lanka, on this Trikuta mountain, filled with grief. He says, Main dekhahu, tumha nahi. I can see, but you cannot. How come? Gidahi drishti apara. Because a vulture's vision is limitless. Means they have telescopic vision, no? From far high up, they can see down like that. Budha bhayau nata karateyu. I'm old now. Otherwise I would have done something. What? Kachuka sahaya tumhara. I would have helped you all in your work. Jatayuji helped. He gave up his life. I'm too old. I can't do anything. Okay. You know, think about this Sampati. Just Sampati himself first, right? What is the quality of a vulture? That it can see far. Everybody comes with special qualities. Every jiva comes with special qualities. We are supposed to use those qualities to serve Bhagavan. And we are given seva that matches those qualities also. So, to find Sitaji, you needed a vulture who could see far. For the vulture to be there when the Vanaras arrived, that vulture couldn't fly. How could you have timed his presence over there with the monkey's arrival if he could fly and go anywhere he wanted? So he was posted there to wait for them. And then he got his wings after that. Then he could go anywhere he wanted. Right? So Bhagavan used even his arrogance, his ego, and his downfall to give him an opportunity to do seva. Even after that, his name is immortal. Can you study Ramayana without calling Sampati's name? He's the one who tells them where Sitaji is. So Bhagavan, everything is happening in the world just perfectly. And if things happen that don't seem perfect, we have to see that no, even the imperfection, Bhagavan has the capacity to place us in a position where the imperfection also contributes to his seva being done. Ramakaj will get done, 100%. Imperfections or not. We all have imperfections, but we all also have qualities, great qualities. The quality we have, the seva we have to do in this world will match that quality. The other thing is, to find Sitaji, the person's vision has to be apara. It has to be limitless. It cannot see just what is in front. Means what? Sita is Shanti. Sita is peace, remember? And so, in the world that we live in, which is clouded by, our mind is clouded by instant gratification, the mind needs to see a little further than the promise of joy in front of me, to seek peace which is beyond that instant gratification, which is unknown. So it needs a greater vision for that. So the vulture's vision reminds us of the kind of vision we have to develop to be able to see Sitaji. If we don't see her, can we look for her? The dutas have come. The dutas are our thoughts. But if the dutas don't get an indication, a definite indication of her presence, how will they find her? That definite indication of presence comes when we develop that apara drishti, where we learn to see further than just what is in front of us. So now this Gita says, I can't help you anymore. But actually he goes on to help. In the next chaupai, he tells them how they can cross over the ocean. Who can cross over the ocean? But in the final analysis, the seeker has to go themselves. Nobody can go for you. Sampati couldn't have gone for them. They had to go for themselves. So this is the wonderful story of Sampati. Now, there's a very interesting symbolism that our Guruji had shared about this Sampati and Jatayuji. They are like two seekers who are seeking Bhagavan, right? Both of them are going in search of Bhagavan, i.e. the sun, symbolized by the sun. Is it possible for anybody to approach the sun? No. Na tatra surya bhati. Now, Bhagavan is such that even the sun does not shine there. The brilliance of the sun also is nothing compared to the brilliance of Bhagavan. In the Upanishads, there's lines like, Yato vacho nivartanti. Speech has to return from there. Speech cannot go there to describe it. Aprapya manasasaha, and it's not graspable by the mind. It's not attainable by the mind. Right? That reality is so brilliant, it is so infinite that the finite mind, the finite intellect cannot know it objectively. So the intellect has to stop trying to know God objectively with its limited capacity. How can something finite know something infinite? So Jatayuji returns from the mission, understanding the limitations of his intellect. He understood his limitations first. And the result of that is he got Bhagavad Darshan first. Who met Bhagavan first? Okay. Now, in Bhakti, remember this is Bhakti Marg, right? So Bhakti Marg is about surrender and acknowledging your helplessness. So Jnana Marg is different. You have to put effort and all of that, right? But we're in Bhakti Marg right now. Now Sampati went higher. And Sampati felt, I can do this, I can do this, I can do it myself. And the thought of I can do it myself, the abhiman, the ego, is what ended up causing his downfall, right? He also fell. And the more arrogance a person has, the more badly they are burned. He was literally burned so badly. But what happened? He found himself with a guru. What was the name of the guru? Chandrama, moon. What does the moon do to somebody who is burning? We saw, in the reveries of Bhagavan Ram, he said that the moon, the rays of the moon, just like they cool the burning heat of the summer day, right? He had given that metaphor over there. The burning heat of the sun and his wings would have been cooled by the words of this Muni, who was the moon in his life. So now he had no wings, he was helpless, he couldn't have any abhiman about his body, and the Guru also gave him a purpose to live. Because you imagine a bird without wings, what will he want to live for? There's so many cases in the world where people are like, well, if I can't move, then I should be allowed to make the decision to not live anymore, because what kind of life is it? People say those kinds of things, right? But he has a purpose. Hey, you have to wait for Rama's Dutas to come, right? So we're supposed to accept the limitations we have in our spiritual journey, and we are supposed to fill the gap of those limitations by understanding the grace of Bhagavan and the grace of Guru. Ego will make us fall. Ego will definitely make us fall, right? And the bigger our ego, the stronger is our fall. And the ego has two ways in which it can evolve. It can surrender. It can do vichara in multiple ways, right? And if it doesn't do those things, well, then sorrow has to come and the ego has to get beaten up. And when the ego is beaten up, then only it will think, right? And so the ego can only learn with pain if it doesn't want to think. We have to evolve, but we get the choice. Do I want to evolve by pain, or do I want to evolve by having love for Bhagavan. That's the choice finally. Okay, so this is the story of Sampati. Now, next week, he is going to tell who can cross over the ocean. And actually, next week in this section, what we're going to see is how Hanumanji has been quiet. We've not heard his name also today. He's there. It's like you don't even know he's there. Next class, we are going to see how Hanumanji becomes Ramaduta. He's not Ramaduta right now. I mean, he is permanently Ramaduta, but he's not acting like Ramaduta at all. So something has to happen for his transformation to take place, where he really becomes established, his awareness of the fact that he is Ramaduta, and that is his only purpose in life. Something has to happen. What is going to happen? That we will see how that happens next week. And see how cool, again, next week is Hanuman Jayanti. And what are we seeing? The birth of Ramaduta. So, I mean, sometimes people wonder, we've been studying this Ramayana for so long. I mean, how many years now? Is it ever going to end? So much tapas. But Bhagavan keeps sending... I mean, we don't plan which class is going to have how many verses and which day, which festival falls, and how many times it has coincided. Bhagavan's birth happened on Ram Navami, and their Vivaha happened on the actual Vivaha day. And so many things have coincided auspiciously, right? So, studying Ramayana is auspicious. And if we forget, Bhagavan keeps sending us signs to remember. Right? Okay, now, since tomorrow is Ram Navami, and since today, the section on, there was inspiration to think about his avatar and all of that, I was thinking, if everyone has a few minutes, we can chant the chandas of Bhagavan Rama's Janma. Right? It will not take more than 5 minutes. It's not a long section. You have to flip to Balkand in the very beginning, in Balkand, Doha number 191. After Doha number 191, there's a whole set of chandas. We can find it and then we can sing it together. Give me a thumbs up when you found it. In Balkand, you're looking for Doha 191, and the word after that is Bhai Pragata Kripala. Found? Okay, great. So let's start. May Bhagavan take avatar in our heart too. He takes avatar Vipradenu Surasantahita for the benefit of dharma. And so when we make ourselves dharmic, he comes to protect us. He comes to be with us. And Bhagavan can take avatar in our heart at any time, the moment we make our heart fit for his presence. So Ram Navami is an opportunity for us to think about and reflect on his birth and how it can happen in my heart too. So you can read the section if you haven't studied it before, how he actually manifested for the first time. And who saw him first? We'll do closing prayer and I will see everybody next week. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om Shri Sadgurunath Maharaj Ki Jai. Apologies for the harmonium errors. One day it will happen. Okay, everybody. If anyone wants to